white. White. Welcome to Dover. It is a myth that a few thousand people fleeing war and famine are our nation's biggest problem. They aren't even Dovers. It's actually truckers, specifically a lack of them. For all of our recorded history, Dover has been the place where Britain and Europe meet. The 22-mile wide stretch of channel used to be a chalk ridge, an actual land bridge to France. The cliffs of Dover are its crumbling remains, symbolic, powerful, Albion. It is to here that 200,000 Allied soldiers evacuated from Dunkirk were brought. So news pictures depicting a drip feed of migrants crossing the channel are bound to evoke strong emotions.
Where are you from?
Where are you from?
Just ask Nigel Farage.
So this is completely off the scale. I'm very opposed to what's going on here. This is the English Channel, July 2021, it's chaos.
But if you look at the numbers, you'll see there's no summer invasion. Last year, small boats arriving into the UK across the Channel accounted for about 0.59% of total migration. The number of people claiming asylum in this country has actually gone down, from 32,733 in 2015 to 29,456 last year. And for all the government talk of France needing to do more, they received 3 times as many asylum claims as us. France has a similar population and economy to the UK. In fact, across the EU in 2019, the rate of asylum applications averaged 14 per 10,000 residents. In the UK, it was 5 per 10,000. And wasn't Brexit a vote to take back control of our borders, not hand their security over to our European neighbours? The threat to this country is not refugees, as the right-wing press would have you believe. It's the absolute weapon in Downing Street. And his government's focus on this specific aspect of our borders is, in a word, racist. And the reason I say this is because there are 2 much more glaringly obvious and dangerous problems at the UK's borders right now. The first is the real story of Dover. If you've been to a supermarket recently, you've likely seen this. A serendipitous storm of Brexit, depriving European drivers of freedom of movement into the UK, and the pandemic means there's now a shortfall of 100,000 HGV drivers, hampering the supply chain. The Army's been put on standby to maintain the food supply. The Army has 2,000 HGV drivers. And if one thing's more numerous in Dover than its chalk, it's trucks.
My name's Dominic Graham. I'm the Quality and Insurances Manager for Alkaline UK. We had a fleet of over 100 vehicles. 20% of those vehicles are currently off the road.
Could you try and put some context on it for someone who might not be familiar with the industry, what the last 18 months have been like?
Okay. Hell on earth? No.
Oh my gosh.
No. It hasn't been easy. I don't think the government sees that shortage as being that high. And although they've tried to put solutions in place, they are nowhere near good enough. Yeah, the haulage industry is the lifeblood of the UK. Yeah, we deliver your food, we deliver your white goods, your luxuries, and you need drivers to be able to do that. I expect 20% of the fleet will affect our turnover by somewhere between 7 and 10 million this year.
The second is a bizarre one, given the government's general hard-on for securing our borders. Through March, April and May 2020, there were no border measures in place to restrict the spread of coronavirus. 100,000 people were arriving in our country every week. None were asked to test negative, self-isolate, or be turned back. The UK was just one of 3 countries in the entire world with no restrictions on new arrivals at that time. Tourists carrying a genuine risk of killing tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of Britons. Please come in. Let me take your coat. Mothers, children fleeing repressive regimes, civil war and famine, often precipitated by our own moronic interventions in the Middle East. I know what we'll do. Build a massive wave machine and repel them back across the Channel to France. Over 2020, on average 10,000 people entered this country every single day. It was not until January 2021 that new arrivals would need a negative COVID test. And as we watched the Delta variant ravage India, we did not see the country put onto our newly formed red list until April 23rd. The Civil Aviation Authority says 42,406 passengers travelled between the UK and India that month. The Delta variant is now the dominant variant in our country. When it came down to it, to actually take decisive action against a real, serious threat to the British people, Boris Johnson did fuck all. All of this, drumroll please, can be traced back to identity politics, the dividing line over which electoral contests up to and since the Brexit referendum have been fought. On the one side, identity liberals, made up of university graduates and ethnic minorities. On the other, identity conservatives, generally white school leavers. Immigration is used to activate ethnocentric sentiments in identity conservatives, creating an us that needs to be protected from them. Political operators can manipulate these sentiments for their own ends. It's on the back of them that Boris Johnson was elected. Or why Nigel Farage said he wouldn't want to live next door to Romanians. Or why Nigel Farage stood in front of a poster of brown people allegedly heading to the UK during the Brexit referendum. Or why Nigel Farage has his own parking space in the Dover multi-storey. Wait, is Nigel a... So, forget about the food shortages, the importation of the Delta variant. Think about immigrants instead.